more profitable as well, similar to in-season.
Okay.
So all these,
Sorry.
I was just going to say, all these different levers are used differently, at different times of the year, given different macro environment things that are going on, different for different businesses, and certainly different by company as well.
Yeah. Okay, that's really helpful.
What were the percentages on closeout? So you'd for production and in season for TJ's, production was 50, in season was 25. What was it for? Did you give that for closeouts or?
No, you know what? I don't think I did. 15 for TJ's and closeouts. Ross and Burlington. Ross is about 35. Burlington's about 30.
Okay.
So reading across, so Ross would be 35% production, 10% in season, 35 closeout, 20 pack. TJ's would be 50 production, 25 in season, 15 closeouts, 10 pack. And then Burlington, 35 production, 15 in season, 30 closeout, 20 pack.
Okay, right.
So does this basically explain why, despite Ross and TJ having similar sales per square foot, similar sales per box, the margins on Marmax are lower than Ross?
Yeah, I think it describes, I think what it does is it says both of these companies really understand who their customer is and kind of use these levers to kind of talk to who their customer is, right? So TJ's uses more production because they feel their customer's more fashion demanding and brand demanding. Ross feels that their consumer's more price demanding. So consequently, they would buy 100% closeouts if they could. They can't, so they end up using production. But even when they use production, like we were saying, they cost engineer things to try to get it to a different value.
Right.
Yeah, okay. That's super helpful.
Yeah.
So if I was worried about the off prices being oversaturated, what kind of things would they do, and what kind of things could I look at to see if they were becoming oversaturated and then they put too much risk into the business in some way, shape or form by taking inventory or fashion risk maybe?
Yeah, I think, oversaturation to me is, let's say it's at the store level. All these companies have pretty aggressive store expansion plans. I think, and I said this earlier, and I wish I knew a better answer, but it's one of those things that when you start seeing store for store moderate and flatten out, certainly one of the things you have to consider is it because there's a saturation of stores now? So I think if TJ's has a tough fourth quarter or a flat fourth quarter, my guess is they'll be, changing their store expansion plans going forward and start to think that maybe they need to slow down. I don't think that's the case, but I think if they did have a softer fourth quarter, I think they'll slow down their store expansion, and certainly in the Marmax division, anyways. I think and this number is a little sketchy to me. I heard it from somebody, so take it for what it's worth. Off-pricers represent about 13% of the apparel business in this country right now. So to me, that seems like it still is not saturated. 13% doesn't scare me. I thought the number actually was going to be higher when somebody shared that number with me. And if that number's true, that doesn't scare me in terms of saturation. You hear so much about how much regular price is struggling and department stores are closing and specialty stores are closing. You almost get this feeling that off price is like 30% of the total or 40% of the total. Well, in reality, it's not. It's still pretty low. So I think in terms of how they would respond or risks, all three of these companies, and certainly Ross and TJ's more so than even Burlington. Burlington's good at this as well. They're very conservative on fiscal parameters. They don't extend themselves. So even though TJ's is doing a lot more production, they still have a ton of liquidity. So, if you think about it, every